Hey everybody, welcome to RCAM. I'm your host Ryan. Thank you for tuning in today. So we're just going to jump right into things. One thing that I frequently hear, either from progressives or I see shared through a meme, is this idea that Jesus was a socialist. So the question I want to start off this video with was Jesus really a socialist? Well, I have some news for you guys. He wasn't. People have this idea in their heads that Jesus was a socialist because he spoke out against the ultra wealthy and warned against the dangers of riches. Now, he wasn't off in his warning against the danger of riches. I think the more money you have, the harder it is to actually follow Jesus, and the harder it is to actually part with your money. He even told one individual to give up all of his wealth and follow him. So this is one of the main stories that people like to point at to support this notion that Jesus was a socialist. So I'm going to share briefly with you and give you my perspective of this story. So it's found in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 18, verses 18 to 23, at least is what I'm going to share with you guys today. So it reads, "The rich in the kingdom of God. A certain ruler asked him," being Jesus, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "Why do you call me good?" Jesus answered. "No one is good except God alone. You know the commandments: you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony, honor your father and mother. All of these I have kept since I was a boy," he said. When Jesus heard this, he said to him, "You still lack one thing. Sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me." When he heard this, he became very sad because he was still very wealthy. Jesus looked at him and said, "How hard is it for the rich to enter the kingdom of God? Indeed, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God." So notice what Jesus says to the rich young ruler, what he tells the rich young ruler to do. He says, "Sell everything you have and give to the poor." He does not say, "Allow the government to tax you at an inordinate rate so that they can redistribute your money to the poor. Failure to do so will result in prison." Jesus wants the rich man in this scenario to give his wealth directly to the poor, not the government. And there are some people who interpret this passage as Jesus being supportive of socialism, but he's not. Jesus is advocating for individual charity, not government-run welfare. Now, some people will bring up the disciples. They too don't advocate for the government to take our money, take their money and give it to the government. They want people to give individually to meet the needs of others. So let's take a look at that passage real quick. This is going to be Acts 2, 42 through 47. It reads, "The fellowship of all the believers. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe and at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold their property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor for all people. And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved." That's weird here. Nowhere in this passage do I see the disciples and believers giving all their money to the government. No, the early church didn't need the government to do their charity for them. They did it themselves. They gave up their own possessions and took money out of their own pockets to help meet the needs of the people around them. They didn't rely on the government to do their charity for them like we do here in America. One of my biggest gripes about people demanding the federal government takes the wealth of billionaires is that I know that 90% of the people advocating for this are probably some of the least charitable people alive. Now, hear me when I say this. I do think billionaires should give more money to the poor. I do. I'm strongly supportive of that. But I think they should do it without the government taking it from them. I think they should do it voluntarily. Because what's going to happen is if the government starts taking their money via taxes, they're going to build resentment. Just like if I went up to you and I took your money and I gave it to the less fortunate in another country, you would probably build resentment toward me. Like it's good to be a cheerful giver, not a mandated one. So I think for many people, having the government do our charity for us is just an excuse for us to get out of helping people in need. I mean, why would anyone want to give if they have Big Brother doing it for them? It's complete nonsense. So now hear me. Again, I just want to reiterate this. I do believe there are a lot of billionaires in this world who are greedy and corrupt. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like they aren't. They could definitely give more. There are definitely people that are exploiting other people. Like there's no question that's happening. And I would love for the billionaires of the world to give their money voluntarily to people. I think that would be a beautiful thing. And there are some people that are doing it. There are a lot of people that are ultra wealthy that give their money to the needy, that are paying off people's hospital debts, that are paying for people's college. They're doing these things, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I don't want to sit here and pretend like the federal government isn't corrupt. and this is one thing that's just baffling my mind with all this. So all right, so we know that there are some billionaires that are corrupt. But we also know the federal government is definitely corrupt. So why are we going to take their money and then give it to people that are equally, if not more, corrupt than they are? Do you really feel comfortable with the government being in charge of that much money when we are already trillions of dollars in debts? I'm good, guys. I'm not comfortable with that. I'll take my chances with the corrupt billionaires over the government any day. One more thing I'd like to add to this is that everyone has an issue with greed. And rightfully so, but people shouldn't be greedy in general. It doesn't matter your economic income. Greed is something that transcends your economic status. People should be generous with their money, regardless if you're a billionaire. You can basically have nothing and still be greedy. In fact, greed abounds in the United States. Greed and our desire for other people's stuff. Now, some of you might be thinking to yourself, if I had $1 billion, I would give my money to the poor. And my question is, would you really? Would you really give your money to the poor? And I'm willing to bet you wouldn't. And you want to know why I think that? Because if you aren't willing to donate right now, if you aren't willing to take your own money right now to help people in need, then the likelihood of you doing it when you have billions of dollars is very, very low. A good indication of what's going on in your heart is what you're doing with the little that you have. So if you have little and you're already out of the little that you have helping meet the needs of the people around you, there's a high likelihood that you're going to do that when you have billions. But if you're not doing that, then the chances of you doing that when you have billions is very, very low. And I have a significant reason to doubt that you'll do that. I'm sure you've heard it said before that if you are faithful with the little, then you will be faithful with the much or more. And I believe that's true. The fact is you don't need to be a billionaire to help people. You can help people right now. You can help people just as Jesus did, just as the disciples did. And I can't stand when people talk about giving or helping people like it's this far off reality. I'll hear people say, I really want to help people. And I think they mean it. But the next thing I'm wondering is, well, why aren't you doing it right now? Like, why do you have to wait till later? Why help people right now? People need help right now. We don't need to wait until we're in a better situation to help people. We can help people today. I'm not saying you have to go big. You could do little things, volunteer somewhere. The truth is, many people don't care as much as they claim to care. They rather take other people's money than use their own money to help the people around them. And I think we can see some radical changes happen when we radically change the condition of our hearts. I happen to believe the only way to really change our heart is to come to Jesus. But if you want to apply principles, I think if you are faithful in giving little right now, then you'll be faithful later when you have more money. So the rich young ruler didn't give his money to the poor because he loved his money more than Jesus, and certainly more than poor people. And we are no different. We love our stuff more than we love people, if we're being really honest with ourselves. If we are really taking that time to look deep within, that's going to be the reality that we're hit with. We may say we love people, but we really love Starbucks coffee more. We really love the latest iPhone more. We really love our big houses, leased vehicles, and the latest fashion more than we love people. And I just don't believe people when they say they want to help people. They don't want to help people more than they want to serve their lust for their money. And they don't want to help people more than they want the next latest thing. If they did, their actions would line up with their speech. I'm also speaking to the church because, frankly, I find myself increasingly disappointed with some of the directions churches are going. They care far more about building their churches than they do about building the church community. They care far more about the latest tech than they do about meeting the needs of people in poverty around them. And I'm convinced that if the church loved God the way that they claim to love and they love their neighbors as themselves, they would redirect their finances to actually helping their communities. Instead of building their brand, instead of building their own little kingdom. If churches really acted like the church, there wouldn't actually be a need for government assistance. The church would be the answer to people's needs. The church would care for those in poverty. The church would care for the widows and the orphans. The church would be the difference this world so desperately needs. I mean, really. Most of us have the power in here to help people in need. In America, we're considered some of the richest people in the world, even those that are living in the poverty line. So so where do you lack the ability to help these people? See, you have the money, but it means letting some things go to help those that are less fortunate than you. And our society now has a big problem with sacrifice, a big problem with putting the needs of others before themselves, because we're always putting our needs first. We don't think about the needs of our neighbors. We don't think about the needs of people overseas. People would rather other people sacrifice their money than themselves personally do it. And you want to know something about helping people? It involves sacrifice. It means that sometimes when we extend our hearts, when we extend our hands to other people, it means that we're going to have to give something up. This was the case with the disciples. They sold all their possessions to help people in need. How many of us would struggle with selling just one thing to help somebody in need? Come on, if we're being really honest with ourselves. How many of you would not be able to part with one thing that you have that you probably don't even need? The chances are not many of you. So my question is, what's worth it for you to help those that are less fortunate? Is giving up a cup of Starbucks every week and sponsoring a child in Uganda worth it? Is holding off on purchasing the latest tech so you can give to your local pregnancy center worth it? Is carving out time during your week to volunteer at a local soup kitchen or homeless shelter worth it? I think so. Now, I'm not saying this to make anyone feel bad, but I need to point out the blatant hypocrisy here. We are battling a lie that is accepted throughout this entire world, that you have to have much in order to help people, and I just don't believe that. I think if we are really going to help people in poverty, if we are really going to help people in need, we just need to have big hearts and make some adjustments to our lifestyles. I'm also not saying that everyone can afford to do this. And if you're somebody that can't afford to give anything financially to help people in need, well, then give some of your time. Our time, I happen to think, is actually one of the most valuable resources that we have. We can get more money. We can't get more time. When we're out of time, we're out of time. So I think if you could adjust your lifestyles to either give more financially or give more time, you will actually make a difference in your community and the people around you. We don't need to wait for the federal government. And trust me, I'm not holding my breath for them. If any of you have ever been to the DMV, you know it can be a lengthy process to get anything done if we're depending on them. So I think the solution to much of the poverty that we see around us is individual charity, is us taking money out of our own pockets and giving it to people in need. Yeah, we're gonna feel it, guys. Yeah, we are. It's not gonna be an easy thing. Yeah, it might involve personal sacrifice. Yeah, we might not have to feed our consumer driven hearts. But we can see people being taken care of. We can see people being cared for. And that, to me, I think would replace this innate desire to consume everything around us. I think the answer is actually individual charity. I think the government actually comes directly against something that we as humans have this innate desire to do. And we're robbed of that when the government is subsidizing not just caring for all the people, but subsidizing what it feels like to give to somebody, to be personally invested in their lives, to see where your money goes directly. It has impact. And it makes a difference. So I just want to end with just reminding you of a couple things that I covered in this episode. One, Jesus was not a socialist. Two, don't wait for the government or anyone else to help meet the needs of the people around you. Jesus didn't, and the disciples didn't, and neither should you. And three, giving involves sacrifice. I think there is something insanely beautiful about being directly involved in meeting the needs of the people around you. You feel it, and so do the people you're helping out. It makes you feel alive, and I believe it draws you closer to your God-given purpose. So I encourage you guys, one, to don't take my words for it. Read it for yourself if you think I'm wrong about Jesus. And two, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. And if you could like and share this video, that would be awesome. Also, if you comment, I will definitely engage. I'll definitely talk to you. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Thank you, guys. Have yourself a blessed day. Deuces.